This is the Roger Orozco Show.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. The star, Ashton, he's asleep. Special guest, Mr. Lopez, two-time school board member. Hey, man, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Roger.
Hey, this video is dedicated to our dads.
Thank you, Dad.
And all the fathers that put their children first. Some don't, but hopefully most do.
Yeah.
It's dedicated to these guys. All right, man.
Well, I wanted to ask you a couple questions on camera, Roger.
Let's go.
Are you going to run in this next election, 2026, for the Selma Unified School District School Board?
Yes. So right now, the answer, well, it's yes. Now, when signups come, which is about a year away, the health of the family and my wife's blessing is what I'm going to have to make sure I have. Right now, I have everything. Everything's good. And that's 100% what I'm doing right now. But it's a year away before we sign up. So why am I talking about it now? Because I got to lay the groundwork now for next year. And that's because our children aren't first. So the system will try to stop me. The system doesn't want me there because our kids aren't first, in my opinion. And you know, too.
Yeah.
It's either get along, everybody starts rubber stamping to get along because it's hard to fight for the children all the time.
It's true.
So basically, the groundwork has to start now.
That leads to my next question. What will you do different than the current board member?
Oh, man. All right. Thank you, Gilbert. Our current board member, Mr. Fedor, is horrific to me. He sat where you sat. He doesn't want to come and answer questions on some of his horrific decisions. I mean, I've emailed him. He doesn't answer questions. He doesn't support me with the Public Records Act. That's where you get information. I'm trying to get all the information I can from my district. He doesn't help me with that. He doesn't support me with that. What I would do different than him is I would put our children first. In my opinion, he's not doing that. Rubber stamping and not answering questions is not putting our kids first. And not asking questions. He's horrific. Like I said, he sat with you for years. He talked a lot of shit, and he hasn't done anything that he told us. So I take him as a liar. That's the way I see him. When you don't do what you say, Gilbert, if I don't do what I say, if I told you a whole bunch of things and I don't do what I say, what would you say? What would you think of me? Am I an honest guy or am I a liar or what?
I would say you're, yeah.
I mean, did you lie or not? You didn't keep your word. What's another word for not keeping your word?
Yeah,
no integrity.
I think that
scared. No balls.
I think that the board members start off wanting to do what they say.
Yeah.
But once they get in that seat, they don't have the stomach.
No balls
to put the kids first.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah,
I know all these guys.
Yeah, I know.
Sahota, he's totally different than when I was there.
Right.
Medina.
It's easier to go along to get along, and I know what it's like to be behind those doors.
Oh yeah.
I know how you worked behind those doors.
Yeah.
When we were there, the adults were never even talked about.
No. So
it was always kids conversate. What can we do for the kids?
Kids come first, and it was fun, right? Yeah. But what people don't know, why I got to do videos and talk to people, is because by putting our children first in Selma, in our system, we become the bad guys. Yeah. Where everybody should be. I had a friend at work tell me, "Hey, man, dude, you don't even have to try. You would win so easy because you've done a lot of stuff. He's been watched the shows, and I've done it for a long time." I said, "Well, that's exactly why I'd have to start campaigning now, is because it's not about our kids, bro. It's not about doing stuff. Look at what these guys won't even answer questions, because they've done horrific, especially with the money. Mr. Fedor knows he's done horrific. You know what? And I'm going to challenge him to debates. He needs to sit right here. If you want to represent me, sit right here. If you make sense to me, I won't run." But you don't even answer a question yet.
Well, let me ask you my second question. What is your favorite story about when you were on the board the first time?
Okay, and I would say that this defines me. There's a lot of stories. My favorite one is going to the leadership class, Mrs. M&M at the junior high. Talked about safety. I told him I was going to come back, think about safety things, and I would bring it up at the highest level. I'd make them agenda items, discussion items. I was going to bring them up. So Mrs. Eminem's class, when I could return, I think it was a week later, I returned. They made posters for me, man.
The kids did.
The kids did.
Yeah.
And it was stuff like cop on campus, fence around the school. There was a whole list. I can't remember everything. But what I do remember is that every single one of those items that those kids did on those poster boards became either an agenda item or a discussion item.
Okay, let me stop you right there. What did the other board members, how did they feel about you doing that?
Oh, they were mad. They were pissed off.
Why were they mad?
Because I wasn't following the flow. They were mad because I was doing things for the children.
You were doing things different than they were doing.
Then they weren't doing anything.
So,
in my opinion, they just followed along.
So they felt that the perception to the public was that you cared more.
Yep, I was told that, and they got mad at me.
And they got, that's what the public doesn't understand.
Oh, yeah. So I was fighting everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, the public doesn't know that. Yeah. So those things that I talk about behind the scenes, I was brutally attacked. But guess what? I stood up to everybody for my kid, for your kid.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I don't like people lying about me, but they do. A tremendous amount. You went through the recall with us. Everything was bullshit.
Yeah.
It was an employee. This is an employee district. You look at the money. And whoever says, hey, this is a great district, okay, I think it's a good district. I think it could be 100 times better. And it should be with the money we pour into it. And it's not. And I see it, and you saw it, no accountability, starting with management. It starts with management. I get back on this board, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be afraid because I want to know where every dollar went and why. Why did you take it from our children? Fair is fair. 8%, 7-1 was fair. I actually think it was way too much, but they got a lot more after that.
Is it going to bother you to not get along with the other trustees or board members? And is it going to bother you to get along with the superintendent or the administration?
No, not at all.
No?
As a matter of fact, I would vote no on contracts on certain individuals or whoever. I would go and tell them to their face why. I have no problem, man. I'm an honest dude. First of all, I'm a father. Yeah. And my kids come first. So everybody's kid was like my kid. That's the way I saw it.
Yeah.
I don't care if the admin likes me. I don't care if the unions like me. Oh, by the way, I won't take union money like other board members. Yeah. You know how bad it looks to okay these massive contracts and then take their money for your campaign? It's horrendous. That's what happened in this last campaign. Yeah. It's horrendous and sickening. And guess what? When I'm back on, I'm going to call all these people out. I will be hated by a lot of the employees. But guess what? The real employee would be me of the people. And I already did it. That's why I love talking to you, because you were in it with me, man. Yeah. Gilbert Lopez was a board member, was unfairly criticized about a closed door issue, item, whatever you want to call it. Gilbert Lopez went to board meetings for over a year. Remember that?
Yeah.
Why? Because you were doing shit. You weren't even on the board. Yeah. The supper program. Yeah. That started with you. Yeah. The swim.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of things that have to go into it, but you started that shit off the board. People like you, me, Mrs. Alanis need to be on those boards. Mrs. Alanis did great, and guess what? They conspired to get her off.
Well,
other board members.
We were clear that a board member is a trustee. We are entrusted by the community to give proper oversight and to do what's best for the child. And
you answer to the parents. They're not answering to the parents. They're hiding. Fedor can you go to the district office and they'll answer questions? No. You are the trustee to answer the effing questions, not the school district. You voted for it. I think Fedor, man, he lost his balls. It was too much for him, but it's sickening to me. I don't even like the guy no more.
You know what?
It's the first time I'm going to say this. I don't like him being on there. To me, he's very dishonest. A dishonest person, board member.
Well, the way that it works is you have the board, which represents the community.
Represents us.
Every taxpayer here in Selma. And then you have a superintendent. And then
working for the board.
Working for the board. And then under the superintendent is the rest of the district.
Yep.
They got it flipped around.
That board is working for the district.
And so what that means is that the money doesn't go to your child.
Nope.
It goes to the employee.
Yeah. I mean, as far as more money, the extra money is not going. Yeah. They poured out. I mean, and the numbers are horrific.
If the parent knew what could have been with all that money.
Oh, yeah.
They would be upset. Yep. But they don't understand.
They don't understand.
They
don't know.
They're busy working.
Yeah, we have to go tell them.
Yeah,
that's why I got to do the video.
Well, they entrust their public official to do what's best for their child.
Exactly.
So when the public official doesn't do what's best for their child,
you should be mad.
You should be upset. Yeah.
So when somebody that does pay attention, let's say I'm paying attention, I don't like what I'm seeing, I reach out. Let's say you were my representative. Hey, Gilbert, why did you vote that way? I would expect an answer.
Right.
And if you give me one that makes sense, okay. Okay, but if I didn't like it, I would tell you. But then that would be it. But when you don't answer me, now it's on.
And when I was there, I signed up for that. I returned
every
phone call, every email.
Fedor.
I answered the question as a trustee.
Yep.
Now it's different.
They have smashed the People's Board.
Yeah.
They are ceremonial now. They like to go to events. Oh, we have one guy we work for. No. You work for the people. You know, they try to say that they only superintendent is under them. That's their only employee. No. You don't even have an employee really, because we employ you by voting you in. Once you lied, see, that's the way it used to be in the past. It's kind of gotten away from that. So I'm going to try to bring it back that you're a liar. When you don't keep your word, you don't deserve to be on these boards. Yeah. I really didn't want to run this time, but it's so horrific that not only did the children need to be put first, the people of Selma need to know what's happened these last 2 years with the money, especially after Measure L. That's what's really insulting. If you're a taxpayer and you're a parent, you need to know all the money they're giving out after they asked you to tax yourself. Yeah, it's horrific. It's sickening. Mr. Sahota,
and they promised they
Mrs.
wouldn't.
Kisler, they promised they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Mr. Fedor, even Mark Medina, and I like Mark a lot, but he's full of shit too.
And after they passed it, they changed it.
Yep. Well, look at what the city did. Pass Measure K for kids. You know, we're going to build a park, and it barely passed. I think by 4 votes. What happens? The first thing that happens, we get a dog park. Okay. How about the kids park? What? Where is Measure K money? We're fixing stuff. Man, you guys told us we were going to get a park, and then you go to Measure S for safety. You know, hey, we're gonna have more guys on patrol. We're gonna have an anti-gang unit. What happened? The one thing people need to know: no more bonds. Period. They've all lied. I should say they all have changed it. You know, everything that was supposed to happen hasn't happened.
Yeah.
No bonds.
And you can't BS somebody who's been there and know how it works.
Yeah, so that's why Fedor has problems with me and you.
Yeah, they can tell the public, we did a historic 3-year contract with the union.
Garbage. You can't even tell us where that money came from.
Yeah.
And so that people know they signed a 3-year deal worth 9%.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't tell you where the money came from. Mrs. Alanis was here to tell us that. Dude, how disgusting is that?
Yeah,
it came from the children, obviously, and right before they did that, we did a video. They were saying there's no money. We can't even do 1%.
Right.
Sickening.
Well, what they did is that the money was there. They just pulled it from somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, we found money. Did it fall out of the sky?
Where did you find it from?
Yeah, dude.
They pulled it from another account.
They pulled it from somewhere, and they didn't tell us. That's the big deal. Right. My representative, District 3 people. And Mr. Fedor, Mr. Fedor would not tell you where the money came from. If he didn't know, he voted on something he didn't know.
Right.
It's horrific what these guys did. There's a lot, dude. Summer school 2 years ago, they gave $3,000 a week for almost, not all the teachers, but for almost all of them for 24 hours a week, 24 hours of work.
Yeah.
You know, what is it, 7:30 to 1:30? Not all of them, but almost all of them. And they gave $3,000, man, $750 a day, bro. Money that could have been spent on our children.
On their
That's
safety,
not even,
on their education, on the opportunities.
everything. They could have done all kinds of extra stuff.
Yeah. Well,
why do they keep giving that money away? That extra money?
Let me ask you one last question.
Oh, yeah, because it's already going long. Yeah.
It was a big fight to make an agenda item for this wrestling facility.
Oh, and massive. That's a story within itself.
Yeah. Okay. If you get on, will you help build a wrestling facility worthy of Selma Wrestling? And let me just add one thing.
Yeah.
If you are meeting with the AD or athletic director, you are going down the wrong road. He is serving not
the district.
He is serving the district. He is not
the
serving.
People is the board.
He's not serving the people.
Yeah.
So I know that they approved it. I've heard that they're going to build a small facility, but it's not worthy of the program and the historic program that Selma has built here. To me,
yeah. So they tried to stop that, right? It started with Bejarano coming over, and then you get involved. Robert Sepulveda, how you pronounce it? Last name? Rob's awesome, and Rob gets involved. I get involved. I asked Mr. Fedor, put it on the agenda. He can't do it. They tell him no, I guess, because he never responded back. You asked Mike Medina, did you ever hear back from him? Nope, because they couldn't do it. We asked Mrs. Alanis. She does it. And I don't know what happened behind the doors, but she went through hell, but she got it on there for the community. She gets it on, it passes. Now we hear it's a multi-purpose room.
They're changing it.
Yeah, so is it going to be big? Is it going to be small? I'll tell you what I would do if I get back on. If I get back on, if I win and I get back on, and it's going to be harder to hell, it would be easy if it was about the children, right? It's not going to be about the children for the adults, so that's why it's going to be a fight. But if I got back on and that was a small multi-purpose room, I would make an agenda item for these guys to buy land if they have to. Hey, I've always kept my promise, right?
Yeah.
You're going to buy land and you're going to build a big one. You're going to let the community decide. And when they say there's no money, I'm going to point back to the millions that they gave away and not told us this last year that Mr. Fedor won't answer to. I want to see all the increases from 2022 until this last year, and that's the money that could build that facility going forward. And you do what you got to do, but you guys screwed up.
Orozco,
2026, I'll hammer it. And here's the thing, though. I already did it.
Yeah,
I've always
you're battle tested and proven.
I've always kept my word. Always kept my word. So, hey, I might get things wrong, information wrong or something, but I don't lie, and I've always kept my word. If they would have brought that, somebody's probably going to say, hey, how can you do that when you're there? I didn't think about it, man. You were there towards the end. We were doing all kinds of shit. Yeah. If somebody would have brought that up, and you wanted to measure L, I definitely would have done that. Why wouldn't I have? So it's not, the money's not to enrich the workers.
Right.
It's to take care of our children.
Well, let me tell you,
and do things for them.
Let me say something real quick before the end of this.
Yeah, because it's going to be 20 minutes.
There was a contract negotiation, and I was there, and you wanted to add that you wanted the employee to help out
school carnivals.
School carnivals.
So this was wait. This is behind. Wait. This isn't backdoor stuff. This was, we were talking about it,
and they were very upset.
Yeah.
But you said, you know what? If we are going to give this raise, we want you to help out the parents. We want you to help out at the carnivals.
Yeah.
And they did. And they did. They added.
Yeah. They added
an addendum.
Yeah.
To the contract, and you got that done.
Yeah.
And
I was hated for
know that, and you were hated for it. But a lot of people don't know that. But I was there.
Yeah.
Man, it was it was proven that you put the child first.
Yeah, and took everybody on. I didn't care who got mad. Because it doesn't matter. If I lose the election, I can still do this stuff on the outside.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I have an advantage is I don't care if I lose, right? It's a service.
Right.
You want a pit bull for your child and for you, then you would vote for me.
You don't care if you're liked or not, Roger. That's
the
thing.
Don't. Life's too short. As long as my family likes me.
Right.
I'm not friends with bullshitters, right?
Right.
That's why Fedor don't sit here no more. Right?
Well,
you come on, Rosemary comes on, Caesar comes on. How come the bullshitters don't come on?
Roger Roscoe, 2026.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick ass.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Hey, I have to add though, really quick, that what you were talking about, adding that to the contract. Those were talks going around the schools. It wasn't Gilbert did not say anything that was internal. It ended up happening, but it was external. Going and saying, hey, would you guys, So I just want to make sure. I don't want somebody to say, hey, Gilbert gave up a closed door thing, because no, I mean that was back then, but we were out talking about. I was out talking about it. That's why I did it. So I kept my word. So I just want to make sure, because the way people are, man, especially the haters. So anyway, happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Roger. Happy Father's Day.
Yep, kids first, man. That's what fathers are about, right? Should be about. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming, Gilbert. Yeah. Gilbert's badass, man. I wish Ashton was awake. Damn. But next time. Hey, please like, share, subscribe, and if you see Gilbert in the streets, tell him hi.